Alright guys, so back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my doobie belt, how I have it set up, why I have it set up this way, and some things for you to think about. So obviously I am active law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement for 5 years. I've gone through, I guess technically 4 different belts since I've been a police officer. And this is kind of the final form of what I've landed on. I really like this belt a lot, the way I have it set up. So it's a defense mechanisms Mech belt, I believe is what they call it. It's a 2-piece system. This is the outer belt with all the stuff on it, and then it comes with this inner belt here. This is just ridiculously light. That's my first kind of pro for this belt, is how light it is, the actual belt itself. I mean, this weighs nothing. And that's because all this is a little plastic belt loop, I guess you could call it, which that inner belt will run through, and then loop Velcro looped around. So it's obviously loop Velcro on the front, but they actually loop it around the back side a little bit to help prevent with any sort of like abrasions on your skin or anything. And then the inner part of it is just Tedris material, which is super rigid. Like, it's hard to even bend with my hands. So it's super light, super rigid, and I've had 0 issues. I guess the only gripe I have about it, with the inner belt specifically, is the belt overall is advertised as a 2-inch belt, but the inner belt here is actually slightly larger than 2 inches. So depending on the pants that you wear, it might be hard to feed through the belt loops. But for reference, I wear 5'11" striped pants at work, and the first couple times it might be a little stiff to get through the belt loops, but otherwise I've had no other issues. So moving on to the outer belt portion, I actually really like what they did with this belt. We'll start at the front. It's just got a mini Cobra buckle here, which, if you notice, when I undid that, the belt still didn't come apart. You know, some people might complain that it's a mini Cobra buckle, but realistically, we're not rappelling out of helicopters, so you don't need anything super crazy to hold this together. But on top of the buckle, it actually overlaps on both sides. So when you put this on, you'll Velcro it to your inner belt, and then the left portion of it here will overlap on top, and then you buckle it in and cinch it down to make it tight. And I've had no issues with this thing getting loose or bouncing around on me. The Velcro is all super good. I've had it for probably about a year now, and the Velcro is still holding up good, and no issues there. So immediately off to the right side of my buckle, I have just this little key loop thing I can click my keys on and be done with it. Pretty standard stuff there. And then from there, I have, again, another pair of handcuffs. I say again because if you haven't checked it out already, go check out my vest video. On my vest, I have 1 pair, and on my belt, I have 1 pair. And so they're both on my center line. If I need to get one of them quick, usually I'll go for the one on my belt here. These probably get used the most, and then the one on my vest is sort of a backup. It's still easy to get to, but it does take a little bit more fine motor skill to actually get out of the pouch. From there, just have my holster. Nothing too crazy with this. It's a Safariland level 3. Holds my duty gun. The only modification I've made here is I actually used the True North Concepts belt adapter, I guess. You just add a QLS plate to it, and the actual belt adapter itself is made of titanium instead of plastic, like the Safariland one. And it's super rigid. I mean, you aren't breaking this thing. It's super light. It weighs pretty much the same as the Safariland plastic one. but I mean, you're not breaking this thing. And it's super sleek, super slimline. I don't have any issues with it jabbing into my thigh when I'm running or anything like that. I did have that issue with the Safariland one, and that's also partially because of the lead strap. It's just the True North lead strap that they make for their holster mount. So all in all, good stuff there. It actually has just a little bit of flex, so if you're running or sitting or doing whatever it is you have to do, the thigh strap will flex a little bit and move with you. And moving to the back, I mean, I have absolutely nothing on the back, and that is by design, really. And that's mainly for comfort. The more stuff that you add onto the back of your belt, the more it's going to be jabbing into your back as you're sitting in the car or doing whatever. So I keep the back of the belt pretty much completely flat and streamlined, nothing on the back at all. And then from there, I've just got a spare rifle mag and then 2 pistol mags in high-speed gear pouches. If you notice, I have 20 rounds rifle mag. That's also for a purpose. With the way that it sits on my belts and then the way that my vest sits, if I have a 30 round mag, it actually bumps into the vest, and so it just gets kind of awkward and uncomfortable when it's knocking around in your vest, especially in the car. And then the last thing on here is just my taser. This is the Taser 7, I believe. I took one of the screws out of the mount, and that allowed me to rotate it to this horizontal position, and then I just really tightened down the one screw that's still holding it in there. And I've had no issues. The screw hasn't come loose or anything like that. And again, that's the way I have it set up here is for the same reason that I have the short rifle mag, is because when this thing is sitting vertically like this, it'll jab into my vest, especially in the front here. It'll jab into my vest, jab into my stomach, and it simply won't be comfortable. So the last thing to talk about with this belt is how all of the pouches actually attach to the belt itself. And that's kind of the highlight of the belt for me. I personally like having the slick design on it. I don't like the super aggressive like Molly designs, like the Ronin belts or the Safe Life defense belt. And those are great belts, don't get me wrong. I just personally don't like that look. So the way this belt allows you to mount all these Molly pouches is the inner loop Velcro. They've actually sewn it every about inch and a half, and then they've left it open in between each section. So what it allows you to do is you can stick the Molly pouches through the back side of the Velcro, and it still allows you to have the Velcro adhesion between the outer belt and the inner belt. This is especially good because over here on the holster, you're still maintaining the Velcro adhesion between both belts, and then it's riding all the weight of the gun on basically the belt. It's not holding on to 2 thin strips of cloth to hold the weight. It's holding on to the entire belt. So it's good for weight distribution, and all in all, the belt works great and distributes weight good, and I've had no issues with the Velcro coming loose or anything like that. So guys, make sure you take some time to think about how you have your belt set up and where you put each individual thing on your belt. I'm a little different. My mads sit kind of far back here. They're at like the 9 o'clock position. and that's really just so that I can move my taser forward. That way I can get to it with my dominant hand, and I don't have to do any sort of weird like rock out with my support hand in order to get to it. If I need it, I can get to it with one hand and use it for what I need it for. So that's really why I just have these off to the side here, and then again the rifle mag sits just behind that, and I can get to it with one hand without too much going on. Again, it's set up in a way that it works in conjunction with my vest. If you noticed, I didn't have anything on the back of my belt really. It's because everything that would go on the back is either attached on my vest here or in the front here, and it allows me to keep the bat slit. That way I really don't have to reach around to get to anything, and it's simply just more comfortable leaving the back of your belt as slick as possible. So I'm gonna have another video out about my vest setup and why I have it set up the way it is. So be sure to check that out if it interests you. But if you liked the video, drop a like. If you didn't like it, drop a dislike. Let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, what future content you want to see me put out there. And be sure to subscribe so you're notified when that content goes out.